Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Monday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I am fantastic. How are you?
Really good. You know what? Had a nice weekend. I'm really glad to be back in the saddle here working, though. Got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. And we got a cool guest we're going to be talking to today. Going to be visiting with Sal Buscemi, and we're going to be talking about the Fed. You know what the Fed is?
Yeah.
Some people are getting fed up with the Fed. Anyway, will the next president have to force the Fed to raise rates? So we're going to be chatting with this young man about. I'm excited to talk to him. He seems like a very smart guy. Also, we got some cool things to talk about now, like this. Being a workaholic is so common in Japan that workers have trouble unwinding and relaxing during a week's vacation. So they're saying even 1 week of vacation is not really enough.
You're the same way.
No, I am. We go on vacation. I bring work with me.
He does, every
what are you
time.
doing? Oh, I'm just working on this thing. I'm like, can you do that at work? Yeah, I probably could. But hey, a man in Dallas led police on an hour-long high-speed chase because he was trying to get his dying cat to the vet.
Oh.
So a 1 hour chase.
You'd think if he would have just slowed down and said, hey, can you give me an escort? My cat is dying. Somebody would have given him an escort, and then it would have been safer for everybody. I wonder if that's really what
was going on, or if he just said that when he got pulled over. He's like, oh, I found this cat on the way. Let me just say it was my dying cat. I don't know. Coming up, we got some special things happening today. We'll tell you all about that in a bit.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Monday, April the 4th. It is International Day for Mine Awareness and Assistance in Mine Action. So there you go. It's all about mines.
Okay.
National Love Our Children Day. Don't we do that every day?
Every day should be National Love Our Children Day.
Square Root Day today. It is also Tater Day and Sweet Potato Day.
Okay.
So it's a good day for potatoes and sweet potatoes. Do you like sweet potatoes?
I do not at all.
I do.
I like potatoes
and sweet potatoes.
I love
like them
potatoes.
Both. Victims of Violence Holy Day and Vitamin C Day and World Rat Day. So
we have all that to look forward to.
You know, there's not a single thing.
I'll be just celebrating Potato Day.
There you go. I'd say there's not a single thing on here other than potatoes that I'm really excited about. So that's the one I'm going to do as well. It is Monday, the 4th day of April. Thanks for listening. This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by Knowles Systems. If you have funds earning less than 6%, listen to this. Commercial mortgage bridge loans pay 6% to 8%. That might be just what you need. You're placed in first position on loans secured by high-quality commercial real estate like hotels, apartments, and office buildings. Your principal never fluctuates in value. You receive 6% per year paid monthly, and your principal is returned in full at the end of each cycle. You never pay commissions, management fees, or asset charges, and you can make these loans inside or outside of an IRA. I'll give you a toll-free number to call, 888-547-8007. Start earning 6% now. Call 888-547-8007. You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. Coca-Cola from your faucet. What would you think of something like that? Go into your kitchen, having a faucet that you can turn on.
That's a really bad idea, don't you think?
And have Coca-Cola flowing right out of it. Well, if that sounds like a dream to you that you're going, man, I need one of those, Coca-Cola is trying to make that a reality. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be flat?
Well, take a listen to this. According to a spokesperson for Coca-Cola, I actually have 2 stories from them today. So their PR department apparently had some...
Working overtime over the weekend.
The company has developed a system which would supply their soft drink to apartment complexes through a central source. So a vat of concentrated syrup would be like in the basement or attic or somewhere, and it would be mixed with purified water and supplied on demand for residents. So it's the same kind of system they have in not hotels, but
restaurants.
In restaurants, yeah. But it would be in, like your own kitchen in certain apartment buildings now. So, if that's what it takes to get people to move in, I don't know. That seems like a really weird idea.
Give me the same kind of thing, but with wine, and we can have a conversation.
Here's one of the things that just dawned on me. I wonder if this story might have been from April Fool's Day. Why is it just dawning on me now that this might not be real? Because this doesn't sound real, does it?
It doesn't sound real, no.
So I don't know if you can believe this one, even though you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
And this is your brain on drugs. If you're planning on creating a club for illegal activities, it's probably best not to advertise that, right?
Right.
Springfield, Illinois is the location. That's where a man was arrested hours after emailing the media about his medical marijuana club.
Nice.
Scott Carey. They seized 50 marijuana plants from him, up to 500 grams of the drug. Carey says that he gave his name and address to officials, even sent emails about the club to all local reporters. His email states, I have opened a medical marijuana club in Springfield. I just wanted you to know it is currently being run out of my residence. I'm accepting customers and suppliers. Thank you. The email also had his home address. That really made it easy for the cops. That is illegal. It is illegal to do that. Even if it's a club, Scott, it's still illegal, Mr. Carey. All I know is that's the kind of thing.
It sounds like it was just it wasn't a press release. It's like he was just literally telling them, this is what I'm doing.
So it was. It was sent to the media. It was like, hey, they want to do a story about this.
Wow.
I'm doing this from my home.
What an idiot.
Yeah, not the smartest thing. That's the kind of thing you do when your brain is on drugs.
John and Heidi.
Not once, but twice today, we're talking about Coca-Cola. This one is probably not good news. The one earlier, I still don't know if it's true. They were talking about having Coca-Cola available like in a water tap in your kitchen if you live in certain apartment complexes. Right. I still think that might have been an April Fool's prank. Anyway, a German judge is suing Coca-Cola, accusing them of causing his diabetes because he drank 2 cans a day, which he says contributed to him getting diabetes. He says they never put a warning on the can to the effect, not for long-term consumption is what he was suggesting they put. He plans a similar lawsuit against the Mars Candy Company, Heidi. So there you go. That's a judge in Germany. And, you know, anybody that would know better would be a judge, right?
Right.
Apparently he didn't know better. So there you go. Coming up, we have your scoop of the day. You know, that is just weird. I hope that this guy doesn't win that case. I really hope he doesn't, because then everybody that's got any kind of problem can
You know
blame.
what? You just never know. It's such a mess.
You'd think that the judge would be smarter. The judges that I know are so much smarter than that. All right. Coming up, we have your scoop of the day.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now, your scoop of the day. North Korea has released a propaganda video depicting a nuclear attack on Washington and warned the U.S. not to provoke them. That's not good.
No.
Hopefully that was just a April Fool's prank as well. All right, hey, raising the minimum wage in California, Heidi, $15 an hour by the year 2022. So there you go. Kids that want to make $15 an hour, California is the place you want to be.
By 2022.
By 2022, there you go. By that time, it'll, $15 will probably be worth, what, about $5, isn't it? Hey, the U.S. Secret Service has ruled that there will be no guns allowed at the Republican National Convention this summer in Cleveland.
Does that include the Secret Service?
I don't know. Here's my question. Do they usually allow guns at that? I don't think they ever do they?
I don't know why they wouldn't.
I don't know. I just can't imagine that they usually do. Hey, if you're looking to get the most out of your regular workout, head outside. Researchers have found that any exercise will help you deal with stress, but working out in nature will actually be a whole lot better for your mental health than working out in a gym. So they're saying if you want to get the most out of your workout, do it outdoors. A recent study shows sitting too much may increase the risk of disability in older Americans. So they're saying if you're an older American, don't sit on your duffer watching TV all day. Stand up and watch TV all day. Or do something else.
I don't think that's what they're saying.
I don't know what they're saying. Spending hours playing violent video games can stunt a teenager's emotional growth, according to a study. They thought that regular exposure to violence and lack of contact with the outside world made it harder for them to tell right from wrong. They also struggle to trust other people, and they see the world from their perspective. Researchers from Brock University in Ontario found that those who spend more than 3 hours per day in front of a television screen playing video games are particularly unlikely to have developed the ability to empathize. So they're saying that they won't be able to relate to you and say, I see, you know what, I see what you're going through. Because they can't. They're seeing it from, their perspective.
I actually agree with that one.
Train up a child in the way they should be with your phone. Moms are sharing their smartphones and other technologies with little kids. some as young as 1 year young. Moms are using gadgets like smartphones to keep their kids quiet and engaged during car travel. DVD players and Nintendo DSs have the highest use, followed by smartphones. Moms now load up their phones with games and music selections specifically for kids. So they're saying that's the new thing now is, I know I've got two nephews that when we see them, we never talk to them.
No, they don't look up?
No, they're on their tablets the whole time. I love them dearly. I give them hugs. The one squirms away from me because, you're going to kill me. I'm like, no, a hug won't kill you. I'm talking about my game. I'm like, okay, sorry about that. Hey, Fred Semyonik was charged with armed robbery after police spotted him at the Key West Ferry Terminal trying to sail to Fort Myers. Police say he threatened a teller at the Keys Federal Credit Union with a pitchfork in a trash bag. He then ran out with an undisclosed amount of money. Police found him fleeing for the ferry. Not often do you get a story that includes a ferry, a pitchfork, and a trash bag. But when you do, you know it's going to be a good Monday. All right, and our final story here. 3 Scottish store robbers took $30,000 worth of cash, stamps, and phone cards from a store. That's a lot. They also decided to disable the store's video cameras. Apparently, they're having some trouble seeing what they were doing, though, and they removed their masks so they could better see the cameras. Of course, that made it a lot easier for the police to see them, too. The men were quickly arrested using close-up pictures from the security cameras as evidence. That is so funny. You ready for Strange Law, Heidi?
I am.
All right. Our Strange Law for today. You may not tap your feet and nod your head in any way, keep time to music in New Hampshire in a tavern or a restaurant or a cafe.
Whoa.
Yeah. You do
Maybe
that?
a lot of people going to jail.
You are out of here. So there you go. That is a strange law. This has been your Scoop of the Day.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by Knowles Systems. If you have funds earning less than 6%, listen to this. Commercial mortgage bridge loans pay 6% to 8%. That might be just what you need. You're placed in first position on loans secured by high-quality commercial real estate like hotels, apartments, and office buildings. Your principal never fluctuates in value. You receive 6% per year paid monthly, and your principal is returned in full at the end of each cycle. You never pay commissions, management fees, or asset charges. And you can make these loans inside or outside of an IRA. Start earning 6%. Go to commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com right now. What are you waiting for? Go to commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com. Again, that's commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for joining us on the John and Heidi Show. We've got quite the interesting political race going on right now, whether you're on the Democrat side or the Republican side. We're hearing all kinds of things about a giant wall being paid for by Mexico. Others that are saying we're going to tax the rich until everybody has free health care and free college. People flip-flopping on issues. FBI investigating people's political past. So the big question is, will the next president force the Fed to raise rates? That's a big question on a lot of people's minds. We're reaching out right now to Sal Buscemi, and he's actually an author and an investment banker. Sal, how are you today, sir?
John, it's a pleasure and a privilege. How are you today?
Fantastic. I'm excited to chat with you. I know as I'm looking through the information here, you've raised millions of dollars for real private equity funds, and you're saying that right now there is some room for optimism, so I love to hear that.
There is. I mean, it's depending on who's getting into office. You have to remember that this country is in debt, and it's not just America. It's a global phenomenon right now. And they have, everything is controlled by the central banks, the U.S. Treasury and the Federal Reserve. A lot of people don't understand that. They think inflation grows on trees, but also they think interest rates are something that is dictated by the market. Over the past 12 years, since the unfortunate events in September 11th, 2001, rates have been artificially low, and that's been a tax on savers because it robs wealth. Because it doesn't allow people such as our parents' age, they were able to retire on savings with an interest rate with a passbook savings account or put it into high-yielding government bonds. Today, government bonds are trading around 1.5%, less than 2%. So it's robbing savers and it's forcing people, these savers, to take risk into the stock market, which is something where they have absolutely no control.
So as an expert investor, right now, as you're looking at the options that we currently have for president, is there one that you say, economy-wise, this person would be probably the best choice?
Yeah, I would say, and I'm sure a lot of your listeners would not agree with this, but just through the New York circles and what I know, Trump would be probably someone who would disintermediate himself from the Federal Reserve and probably be able to raise rates and really force things to happen where he would give that precious interest rate back to the savers, pensioners, and retirees. That's really what I believe, because anything other than that, if you listen to a lot of these candidates, it sounds like that there's a lot of commingling between different policies, and all of that adds to a lot of expenses. If you were to get someone like Bernie Sanders into office, all bets are off. You might see negative rates like you're seeing in Poland. You've seen that in Northern Europe. You've seen that in Japan. You're starting to see that in Canada. And it could happen here, too, as well.
And we've got quite the variety of choices when it comes to our presidential candidates this year. And I remember back in 2000, I remember Saturday Night Live did a skit because they were trying to make the case that Al Gore and George Bush were so much alike. They had the super candidate, Al W. Gore Bush.
I remember that. Yeah.
Because they were saying if you're voting for him or him, they're pretty much the same. You can't really say that right now because we've got completely different candidates on every single person that's up there. There's not two of them that are even close.
I think so. I think I used to believe that, but as a financier and seeing things in the market and understanding how the Federal Reserve works, I believe in two parties but one head. And so I think you're going to have one that blows rhetoric to an identity of one group of people and one that's going to blow rhetoric that's going to cultivate the interests of another group. But I think when you look at things, when everything comes together, it's one head, and that one head is the monetary policy of this country, which are the central banks.
And speaking of banks, right now we're talking with Sal Buscemi, and he is managing director of Dandrew Partners LLC, a former investment banker at Goldman Sachs, and we're talking to him about a lot of different things, but let's talk about the Fed right now. Speaking of banks, why won't the Fed increase rates anytime soon?
Well, I mean, there's a two-pronged answer to this. Number one is they follow a bunch of models, and as you know, the real world doesn't work, John, looking at an Excel spreadsheet. There's many different factors, a human factor, things that happen that you can't really quantify into an Excel spreadsheet. So that's what they've been saying, and that's what they're using when they talk with their monthly or quarterly outlook when it comes to inflation and rates. The other part, and perhaps the more serious part, is that there's a lot more than just the $16 or $18 trillion in unfunded liabilities. And it's the equivalent of, well, are you going to raise your interest rate on your own credit card bill? If you owe $20,000, would you rather make the minimum monthly payment, or would you rather increase the monthly payment on yourself by charging yourself higher interest? So it's self-serving. And as long as the government can get away with just making, for the next 5 years, as long as they keep going down this track, making the interest rate payments only, then it makes sense if you're only paying yourself 0.25%. However, after, when you get up to around 1%, 1.25%, that's 5 times the total monthly payment that you owe to your beneficiaries, which are the bondholders, and they just don't want to do that.
Now, is this a good time for commercial real estate?
It's coming in to be a good time. There's a lot of opportunities there because we're starting to see right now the same thing that happened in residential, we're starting to see in commercial, and that is a lot of these loans are coming due, and there's going to be a great transfer of wealth there. I write about it a lot on my blog, thecommercialinvestor.com. That's thecommercialinvestor.com. And you can see that I've written some blog posts on there as it relates to where I see the market going. But I think, me being cynical at best, paranoid at worst, I think people are much better off investing in private partnerships rather than being into mutual funds where they have high lows and high fees, and there's really no alignment of interest. And I want people to remind themselves of that, is look at their mutual fund statement. Where's the alignment of interest between me and my broker that's selling me these assets, these mutual funds?
As we take a look at investments, can the average investor really break into the market right now? Is this a good time for them to say, hey, I'm going to dive in for the first time in my life?
Yeah, I think it is a good time to do it. It's not as hard. The one thing I like about it is that it's secured and insured. And that's something that you're not going to find in the stock market. You could have something, God forbid, another terrorist situation happen domestically that's going to drive the stock market down. You're seeing all these things happen where you don't have any control. With commercial real estate or residential real estate, you're always in control. It's secured and insured. And I advise people to get involved into private partnerships. Now that they've relaxed a lot of crowdfunding, you'll see that it's a lot easier for these people to get involved with less than, some of them are as low as $10,000, $5,000. They can get into these crowdfunded deals. And that's really what's driving a lot of growth in the sector right now, is that the smaller investor, for the first time since, since the days of Joe Kennedy running the, 1933, can get involved into these transactions with little money into it and without having to assume a lot of risk. And they're also investing alongside qualified operators too as well, who they do have an alignment of interest with.
Again, visiting right now with Sal Buscemi, and he's, in addition to a wealth of information about the investing, he's also an author, and I want to make sure we talk about your book, Making the Yield. How long did it take to put this book together?
That was a result of about 17 years and $45 million of making loans. Everything that I've learned, and a lot of people would come up to me and say, "Hey, Sal, you know what? You seem like you know what you're doing. How about I give you some money to work with?" And I said, "Well, why don't you do it yourself?" At the time before we started funds to do this, and they said, "Tell me how to do this." And so I wrote a book on it, which is really the cynic's way to make these loans, where you're wearing your belt, suspenders, and life jacket, and you're not going to get in any trouble. I think a lot of people are allured to real estate because they think it's bulletproof, but it's not. Remember, there is a human component to it, and this is my operating manual that I put together for people to really learn how to get into this. Now, of course, we manage people's money too as well, but as far as the book is concerned, I always tell people before they invest with us, they want to read the book to understand everything as if they're investing alongside of us.
And the book, again, is called Making the Yield, and I see the website is makingtheyield.com. Is that correct?
That's right. We're giving away 20 free copies plus shipping. I think shipping's like $5.95. For the first 20 people, we're going to give it away, a copy of the book and some other cool free things that come along with it too as well. So, people who are interested in learning this business and they want to be a banker themselves, whether they have no money of their own or they're using other people's money, we show you how to do that and how to be able to do that safely with the belt and suspenders approach.
Very cool. Again, makingtheyield.com is that website. Sal, thank you again for taking some time to chat with us here. I know this year you're going to probably get a lot of calls because there are a lot of people that are wondering, with all the things that are happening in one of the most interesting political climates of my lifetime, you're going to probably get a lot of calls with people asking questions. So thanks for chatting with us.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it. Pleasure's mine.
And again, Sal Buscemi, Managing Director of Dandrew Partners LLC, former investment banker from Goldman Sachs, and also the author of the book, Making the Yield. And I'll give you the website once again, makingtheyield.com. And if you'd like to read more, he's also the founder of Commercial Investor, and you can find the blog that he was talking about earlier at thecommercialinvestor.com. Thank you so much for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Keystone Treatment Center. Addiction is no laughing matter. Call Keystone Treatment Center toll-free at 1-844-204-1055.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Over 30 million people in the United States suffer from dystamia. You know what that is?
I have no clue what that is.
Dystamia is having a gap between your front teeth. I have that.
Oh.
Mine's not a real big gap.
No,
but
yours
gap
isn't
there.
a big gap.
It was bigger before. Now
David
it's
Letterman
smaller.
has it.
Yeah. Hey, fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Americans spend $10 million per day on potato chips.
Ooh.
I think that's all of us together, not each one of us individually.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
must be.
We've got a problem. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Each inch of skin contains 72 feet of nerves.
Oh, crazy.
So there's a lot of nerves in everybody's little one square inch of skin. Fun fact for you,
What's
Heidi.
that, John?
And this is the one I'm posting on our Facebook page, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. If you like those little fun facts on there, be sure to let me know. It's a lot of work that I put into those. So if you don't like them, let me know and I'll save some time. So here's the fun fact. Beethoven dipped his head in cold water before he composed.
Really?
Yeah, so before he composed, he would stick his head in ice cold water. Apparently that made him compose better. Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either. A couple of fun facts for you right there on a Monday.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by RadioReallyWorks.com. I know you're listening to a podcast, but did you know the John and Heidi Show is also a radio show? And for those of you who have businesses, you should consider using radio to advertise your business. We can even help you create some catchy little jingles or amazing radio ads that will help pull people in. Get all the details or just learn more at RadioReallyWorks.com. That's RadioReallyWorks.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Monday. What is the worst thing you've ever dropped in a toilet and had to fish out, Heidi?
I have never fished anything out of a toilet.
You've never dropped anything in a toilet?
No.
Nothing?
No.
Ever?
John,
Never?
who drops stuff in toilets?
Me? I've dropped a couple things in toilets that I had to fish
I've
out.
almost dropped my phone in. Like,
Well,
it was in my shirt pocket, and I
I've
leaned over, and it dropped in.
I've dropped your toothbrush in there like 6 times. I'm just kidding. I've never done that. That would be gross. No, police in North Platte, Nebraska have a case with a bit of a bite to it, and it's a toilet case here. They were called to the home of 55-year-old, it doesn't say her name, just a 55-year-old woman who had dropped her false teeth in the toilet. The toilet backed up, and the lady's boyfriend called a plumber. The plumber charged $50 to retrieve the dentures, which the boyfriend paid. But then the boyfriend refused to give the dentures back to the woman until she paid him the $50. That's why the police were called. Why
would you want them back?
Are you seriously going to use them?
They're so expensive.
Oh, there's just no way. Could you, seriously?
You'd have to boil them and disinfect them, and then they'd be fine.
No. No. I mean, there's nothing you could do. If they're in the toilet, you would just boil them. You're like, they're fine.
And then for the rest of your life, you'd have a eating grin.
Which you just... You can't say that on the radio, Heidi. How many times have I warned you? I'm going to put you in timeout if you keep this up. All I know is that is disgusting, and I've never had to drop any. I've never dropped anything in the toilet that I've had to put in my mouth. I dropped keys in the toilet one time. They were in my pocket up here, and I leaned down to flush the toilet, and they fell out into the toilet. I've dropped other things in there. I dropped a phone in a bucket of water when I was washing my van. That was terrible. But never teeth. I've never dropped my teeth in the toilet. Thank goodness mine are attached pretty darn good. All right, coming up, we've got some other fun stuff to share on this Monday edition of the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you want to buy or sell an RV, go to RVRealtor.com. List your RV for free. Learn more at RVRealtor.com.
Do you have trouble getting to sleep at night, Heidi?
Yeah, sometimes.
I might have an easy solution for you.
Okay.
If you're having trouble getting a little shut-eye, you might want to get a kitty cat.
No way.
Researchers in France say people who cuddle up with a cat report more satisfying sleep than people who don't own cats. What's more, having 2 or 3 or 4 cats is even better. They're saying if you want the best night's sleep, 57 cats is the way to go. I don't know. I made that up. How many cats do you need to fall asleep? I can't even imagine. This is 4. If you have 4 cats, that's better than having 1 cat. Is it because you're just exhausted from cats? You can't be sitting around playing with cats all day. We have 2 dogs.
I'm not a fan of cats.
Well, it's because you're allergic to cats.
No, that's not why.
That's why. I'm sure it is. I used to have a cat. I love cats, but I don't have one now because we've got 2 dogs, and I've got everybody else in my family allergic to cats. But one of our dogs kind of acts like a cat, doesn't she? She kind of lays around all the time. Yeah. So snuggle with her tonight and see if that helps you fall asleep quicker. All right? A little tip there from Big John. Coming up, we've got the crooks at the police station. I think. We'll tell you what it's all about.
John and Heidi.
There's something crooked at the police headquarters in a nation's capital, Heidi.
Okay, what's that?
In fact, about everything is crooked because the police headquarters in this particular Washington suburb is sinking. Alexandria's public safety center is built on a landfill and has started sinking, and it has sunk 4 inches in the last 14 years.
Wow.
The floor is now so slanted that barbells in the police weight room roll away.
They might want to do something about that. Are they just going to leave it that way?
The police union says the crooked police department is a safety hazard, but county officials say it's more like a nuisance, and renovations will be under study. We'll take a look, and we'll see. You know what they could do? I believe they could actually go underneath of that and jack it up. Mm-hmm. I saw a guy that was doing that with concrete, where they had like a concrete pad that had sunken, and they went underneath and jacked it up. I wonder if they could do that with that whole building.
Probably.
That'd be really cool. Maybe put a balloon under there, just blow it up. Oh, maybe not that. I thought it was a good idea for half a second. Hey, if you want to live to be 100 and be happy, be listening. We'll tell you what to do in a bit.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by Knowles Systems. If you have funds earning less than 6%, listen to this. Commercial mortgage bridge loans pay 6% to 8%. That might be just what you need. You're placed in first position on loans secured by high-quality commercial real estate like hotels, apartments, and office buildings. Your principal never fluctuates in value. You receive 6% per year paid monthly, and your principal is returned in full at the end of each cycle. You never pay commissions, management fees, or asset charges, and you can make these loans inside or outside of an IRA. I'll give you a toll-free number to call, 888-547-8007. Start earning 6% now. Call 888-547-8007.
John and Heidi.
If you want to be 100 and be happy and healthy while you're doing it, here's 6 secrets for your very own fountain of youth from researcher Dan Buettner, author of the National Geographic bestseller, The Blue Zones. First thing he says, first and foremost on the list, laugh long and laugh often. Not only is it fun for you, but a good long laugh relaxes blood vessels and lowers your risk of a heart attack. That's why we're doing so well. We laugh all the time.
Yeah, that's why
I'm serious.
That's why we are the picture of health.
Well, I'm saying we'd be in a lot worse shape if we didn't laugh.
We would if we didn't
much.
laugh. But
next thing is it's good to be nuts. No, it's good to nosh on nuts. Study of a Seventh-day Adventist group in California found those who ate portions of nuts 5 days a week lived an average of 2 years longer than those who didn't. So saying maybe there's something that's not so nuts about eating all those nuts, right?
Right.
And number 3, cherish your friends. It says keep a tight-knit circle of close buddies around you that you can go visit and share your innermost hopes and fears. Gather people around you who will reinforce your lifestyle, according to the report. They're saying get out and do fun stuff that you all like to do together. Next, eat wisely. It says here, Ocanians, whatever that is, boast an unusually high number of healthy seniors, over 100, being every meal. They begin every meal by saying, Hari Hachi Bui. That translates to eat until you're 80% full. He says, eating slowly off smaller plates will actually make your meal more satisfying. Number 5 on the list, stay active. You don't have to run marathons or schedule gym time. Just make physical activity things along the way. Long walks, maybe puttering in the garden, playing with the kids. Make that part of your routine, and that'll be good. And then number 6 on the list, live like you mean it. Across the board, those who lived the longest had a clear sense of purpose. He says that you know why you get up every morning. So when you wake up every morning, you have a purpose. You know what you're going to do that day. That's going to help you. Find ways to get connected with things that you feel passionate about. Get involved. And I will add this to the list, even though he doesn't have it on there, is volunteer. If you're looking for a way to live with a purpose, volunteer, do something that you've always wanted to do. Even if you're not getting paid for it, you're going to get way more than money. You're going to get a great feeling from it. So
there you go.
There you go. Some fun tips from National Geographic bestseller, The Blue Zones, with how to live to be 100 and happy about it.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
Always try to find something positive to end this program, Heidi. And today I got this. A Wisconsin teacher recently made it the potentially life-changing announcement that she was going to donate a kidney to a student.
Oh, wow.
ABC News says the Oakfield Elementary School District first-grade teacher surprised a family of the student of Natasha Fuller with the news that she was a match to donate a kidney. That happened during a recent parent-teacher conference.
Wow.
Jody Schmidt started the process in December and has just recently found out she was a match to be a donor for Natasha, and now she's going through with it, and she's going to give this kid a gold star and a kidney.
That is amazing.
Isn't that cool? It's a Wisconsin teacher, again, a first-grade teacher, and they found out during a parent-teacher conference. How would you like that?
I bet they're glad they showed up to those. She probably would have changed her mind if they hadn't shown up at parent-teacher conference.
I don't know if they're all... Some parent-teacher conferences are optional and others you have to go to. Even when they're optional, we tend to go. Have we ever skipped parent-teacher conferences?
Well, yeah, when it was our son, because he always had such good grades.
Well, and I think there was one time our daughter tried to not let us know that they were having conferences.
But we already knew because we had gotten the email. We're like, don't you have conferences? No,
I think it's next week or something. We're like, I'm pretty sure it's tonight.
Yeah, there was a reason for that.
How did you know that? It's crazy that you guys knew that. Yeah, they let us know what's going on. Anyway, that what a awesome story. And I have a link that I'll add to our Facebook page. If you're not a fan on Facebook yet, you should do that. It's a real fun thing to do. It's a real easy thing to do, and I put a lot of silly things on there. It's really simple, really easy to find. It's facebook.com/John and Heidi Show, and we'll make sure we add details to this story like we do with others as well. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you again for listening to a Monday edition of the John and Heidi Show.
Time now for the bonus break. Only available here on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
And your bonus break is brought to you by the good folks at Knowles Systems. And if you haven't heard of them, well, you need to listen up because I got to tell you all about this. If you have funds earning less than 6%, maybe you should check into a better system like Knowles Systems. They have commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com. If you've never heard of a commercial mortgage bridge loan, I'm going to tell you what this is. It's a loan paying 6% to 8%, and it could be just what you need. You're placed in the first position on loans secured by high-quality commercial real estate like hotels and apartments and office buildings. Your principal never fluctuates in value. You receive 6% per year paid monthly, and your principal is returned in full at the end of each cycle. You never pay commissions, management fees, or asset charges. You can make these loans inside or outside of an IRA. If you'd like more info on how you can start earning 6% or more right now, call 888-547-8007. I'll give you that number again in a second, but first, you might want to just check out the website if that's easier. commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com. Again, commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com or 888-547-8007. I have 6 unexpected ways that you might be making life more difficult than it has to be, Heidi.
Okay.
So it says, let's see, number 6 on the list. You're hitched up to a gigantic dead weight called unforgiveness. If you have people in your life that you're dragging around, that you're not forgiving, and you're carrying that burden with you, you need to get over it. Heidi,
there's only one, and I'm...
Oh.
There's only one.
Really?
There's one.
One?
One.
I think there's more than one.
I don't think so.
We'll talk about that off the air. But I think there's some people. I had somebody that I had was upset with, and I just finally decided, you know what, I am going to forgive the guy. And I forgave him and went and talked to him. And after that, I feel really good now. It feels really good. So if you've got somebody that you had some quarrel with a long, long time ago, reach out to them today. Don't wait till tomorrow. Just do it today. Reach out and say, hey, you know what? This is kind of weird. We got
you know what? You can forgive somebody without ever speaking to them again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's one. There's one that I have not forgiven.
Will you forgive?
And I will not ever.
Yes, you will.
Ever.
You will. Yeah. Hey, we only got to the first one. Can we get to the rest?
Sure.
6 unexpected ways you might be making life more difficult for yourself than it has to be, Heidi. First one was forgive the people that you need to forgive. Number 5, if you're trying to solve your big life problems late at night, don't do that because then you can't get to sleep.
Yeah.
Quit doing that. At night, think about positive, happy, fun things to dream about and then go to sleep.
Okay.
Number 4 on the list, if you're secretly searching for perfection. You know, that's my problem. I'm always trying to make things perfect. I can't even say that with a straight face. I will say one of the things that I have a problem with is like when I save a file, I try to save it the same way. I'll rename files that somebody else sends me because I'm a weirdo about that. I don't know why, but I'm just, I don't know, perfection thing. But I'm not OCD about everything, as you can see from my workspace. I have selective OCD.
Selective OCD.
Hey, number 3 on the list, don't utilize an entrepreneurial mindset enough. You know, so they're saying if you're wanting to make things difficult on yourself, then don't think like an entrepreneur. You should think like an entrepreneur is what they're saying, because then you'll solve problems and maybe even make money doing it. Number 2, as the 6 unexpected ways you might be like making your life more difficult than it has to be. If you're on social media too much, Heidi.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, and you're playing Candy Crush too much, Heidi.
I like Candy Crush.
That's not on my list here, but I figured I'd throw that in there while I'm blaming someone
I only
else.
do that during downtime at work. I don't have it on my phone anymore because it was becoming a problem.
Oh, sorry. And the last one on the list here. You ready for the last one?
I'm ready.
Ways you might be making your life more difficult than it has to be if you're trying to figure it out all on your own. You don't need to figure it out all on your own. Get some help. If it's something difficult and you need help with it, talk to somebody that you trust. One way or another, find somebody that can help you through it and then get it over with and done with. So there you go. Got a couple of fun facts that I didn't get to today. Can I just share those? Because I've been saving these things. And then I could have a whole day with nothing but fun facts. So I need to maybe get fewer fun facts in the future. But right now, I'll at least share the ones that I have here. The shortest British monarch was Charles I, who was 4 foot 9 inches. So he's a little dude. 4 foot 9 inches. That's cool. Nothing wrong with that. He was the British monarch. Elizabeth I suffered from anthophobia, which is a fear of roses.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Star Trek Next Generation. You liked that, didn't you?
I did. Yes, I liked the Next Generation.
Captain Jean-Luc Picard's fish. What was his fish's name?
I didn't know he had a fish.
He had a fish, and his name was Livingston. In 1920, 57%, so over half of Hollywood movies billed the female star above the male.
Ladies first.
Yeah, back in the 1920s. George Washington grew marijuana on his farm. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either. I got some stoner friends that are probably going to make T-shirts or something now. It's promoted. He said, it says in here that he promoted its growth in the 1790s. The crop was mainly for industrial value as hemp and for soil stabilization. So just because he grew it doesn't mean that he smoked it. Hey, movie detective Dirty Harry. Guess what his badge number was?
I don't know.
2211. Yeah. 83% of people hit by lightning are men.
Oh, I wonder why that is. That's interesting.
Because women are smart enough to come in out of the rain. You seriously had
You
to ask?
said it.
Because I know it. And lastly but not leastly on my list here of some fun facts that I have been holding over for a few days. It's technically against the law to say Gesundheit after someone sneezes. Did you know that? In the United States of America, we passed legislation during World War I making it illegal to say that.
Really?
It's never, ever been repealed, so it is still illegal to say Gesundheit.
I always say God bless you.
I do, too. I'm a God bless you guy. So one more reason, by the way, if you know somebody that's not a God bless you person, if you want to get them to be a God bless
you. That's illegal.
Hey, you go to prison
Citizen's
for that.
arrest.
You know, you could go to jail for the rest of your life.
For the rest
if
of
I
your
turned
life.
you in. You are lucky I'm not turning you in, mister. All right, that's going to do it for your bonus break. Brought to you by Knowles Systems. Now, if you've got funds that you've got invested somewhere that are earning less than 6%, take a moment to listen to me. I know I talk about silly, nonsensical stuff all the time, but this makes sense. Commercial mortgage bridge loans earn 6 to 8%. If you've got money that's not earning that much, check into this. It might be just what you need. If you want to get all the details, I'll give you a website and a phone number. So whichever one you want to do. Website first, commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com. Now, the toll-free number is 888-547-8007.